Welcome back to the Bible Study Girl podcast. I am Sarita. You probably know me as Bible Study Girl. And the initial welcome you heard was from the executive producer of this podcast, Bible Study Brother.
Yeah. What's up, people? It is I, Bible Study Brother, but I am also known as Icarus Gray over at Gray Area Anime. This is the most wonderful podcast of your day. If you want some good music, Icarus Gray Matter is out right now, and I am currently with two of the features in Bible Study Girl and Bible Study Mama are in the place to be. You should also be in the place to be listening to these albums. Happy fall, y'all.
Happy fall, y'all. And Bible Study Brother is right. We are joined by a very, very special guest today. You guys are getting back-to-back Bible Study Mama action. Next week, you will hear her as the special premier guest in a lovely BSG trivia game. But today, she is joining us because today is a very special day. It is September the 9th, and September the 9th is the day that my great-grandmother was born, Cleopatra Sumter. So we decided, oh my gosh, my mom and her sound effects.
And her brick sound effects. We've talked about this.
We talked about this, but mama wasn't on here, and I don't think the episode has aired yet. We talked about that whoop whoop sound because I think I did. Did I do it?
You did it, and I said you
I
turned it into
did it,
mama.
and I was like, oh, I sound like mama. And then we talked about how it came from brick, and you just mutated it to what it is.
Mm-hmm. Whoop! Just what?
Yeah, because we got a whole debate. What's the name of the show?
The Middle.
The name of the show is The Middle. Yeah.
Which she was like, "No, it was Malcolm in the Middle." I said, "No, it was not."
It was right. But it was The Middle, and Brick was a character on the show, and he make the sound again, Joe.
Whoop.
And so Mama has just morphed it to whoop whoop.
And it would just be random, and it was because he was such a strange little kid, man.
He was strange. He would just make that noise randomly, but Mama makes it as excitement. So we'll let you in on a little inside family fun facts. Today, like I said previously, we are going to celebrate the life and the legacy of Cleopatra Sumter. You may not know if this is your first time listening to the podcast, but my mother was raised by my great-grandmother, and I was also raised by my great-grandmother for the first 5 years of my life because my mom is a teen mom. She had me 3 days after high school graduation. We had the summer together, then she went off to college, and so the day-to-day raising, nose wiping, feeding, putting to bed and stuff, my great-grandmother did. And so we definitely have that in common. So I wanted Mom to come on today, and we're just going to talk about some of our favorite memories, our favorite times, favorite things about her, because although she is gone, she is definitely not forgotten. I think my great-grandfather died when I was like 12. And that was really, really sad for me. And it's crazy to me that Joe doesn't remember our great-grandfather. Well,
I do.
You do, but not
like how you would. I remember coffee. The best coffee, best sugar and cream with coffee on the side in the world.
Right.
And I remember leaving the hospital the day that we knew he was gone. I will vividly always remember that.
Right. So I
remember
think
getting on that elevator and Mama was crying. It was a whole thing.
It was sad. It was bad. It was not great. It was a no good day. I actually had to go to school that day though, because we had testing. And he stayed with us. And so I don't talk about him as much, I think, because he passed when I was 12. So my memories of my great-grandmother persist and are much stronger because she passed when I was in my 20s. I think I was like 24.
2008. So yeah. I was
25 then. I was 25.
I was 19.
25. So I love my great-grandfather. He just wasn't as vocal and verbal. We didn't talk as much. He was always there, we just didn't talk as much. Like I was my great grandmother's road dog. We went everywhere together. We would get up in the morning. I would help her make the biscuits and stuff for him and for us just as a family. So I have lots of great memories for her of her. And I want to celebrate her on her birthday and not be a day of womp womp sad tears, which I probably still will cry, but today I feel like I'm in a good place
Yeah.
and I don't
And
feel like crying,
send
but
me a
y'all might
sad
make me.
Facebook post. Nah, I
What'd you
mean,
say?
I'm gonna try not. I said, and send me sad Facebook posts from certain people. I'm not gonna say no names.
Mama. She is
Whoa, whoa! Accusations being flown, dog. If y'all want somebody to enrage you, or the day where you was just trying to be somebody. Matter of fact, random tangent. So, Mama tells me some information, and I still don't know how I feel about that information. Still don't know. Like, and I think I talked to you about it like off air.
No, I don't think you have.
It was a revelation of someone's passing.
I thought I told you.
Did you tell me or did she? I feel
I
like she
did.
told me.
I told you. No, she didn't tell you. I know she didn't tell you. I did. But we'll talk about that later. That has
Anyway,
nothing to
the tangent more so just to speak to her Facebook post. Like I just because of how every year that was certainly mentioned, I do want to like bring a happier note to this because I just be like,
But the thing is, Mama's entitled to her feelings and to feel her feelings and to
yeah,
share her.
for sure. I'm not
Um,
mad at overdoing it.
so mommy, what was it like growing up with Cleopatra Sumter? We will compare notes. We'll compare and contrast because my raising I think was a little different.
It sure was. Yours was definitely different. Woo, 100%. It was a whole new person. You know, the thing about Mom Patriot is she always, you knew she loved you. Um, Her actions were worth a million words, not 1,000, but a million words, million trillion billion words. Really, she was a strong woman in in was like my hero, basically my shero. Um, she went through a lot. I mean, I can remember the day when I believe it was Uncle Ned died. It was the first time I really had, I guess, experience like I knew Uncle Ned, but I didn't know. I mean, like I had met him, but I wasn't like we didn't go down to his house as much, and I knew he had cancer. Uh, that much I did know, but I didn't really understand it because I think I may have been like 7 or 8, something like that, when Uncle Ned died. Um, and I guess a few years later, Uncle Americus died. I may be getting the sequence of who died first wrong, but
As the family historian, I should be able to correct you, but I cannot confirm or deny if your dates of death are accurate. My bad.
I just remember that
So, Mom, you are talking to a whole audience that doesn't know who Ned and Americus are. They were her brothers, correct?
they were her brothers.
Okay.
Uh, uh, Uncle Ned, like both of them had lung cancer. Both of them were smokers or whatever, and they both died from lung cancer. Um, I remember Uncle Ned's only because she said she knew when he passed because she had had a dream where she had seen a ship on a cloud and he was on the ship and waved bye to her.
Oh, I've never heard this story before.
And it just, it was just, I don't know. It touched me as a kid. And I can remember where it's kind of like we were in the car driving we were in Helena. I don't know where we were going to when she said it. And during that time, we didn't have to wear seatbelts. We didn't wear seatbelts. Um, and it just seems like I was sitting like on that little hump or whatever in the back seat, like on the floor
Mm-hmm.
and listening to her talk.
Oh yeah, I remember how small I used to be when I could do that. I remember those days.
In my
I remember.
mind, that's where I was. But and it may be a false memory. I do remember her. I remember the story time wise. I mean, I don't know, if I was actually in the car or whatever. But anyway, just those kinds of things. She made it a point to take us to her mom's house, Grandma Viola, where my cousins Mumu, May Kathy, and Glenn stayed. And so we would all, play and stuff. And Grandma Viola didn't play. I mean, she was like one of those stern people. And Mama Petra was the complete opposite. She would laugh. You would, uh, now she was for real when she whooped you. Now that wasn't no play. She was very good at whooping people.
Was she? Never
Oh
experienced
yeah.
that.
Oh honey.
I don't
Yes,
know nothing
ma'am. She
about
was
that.
good at it. She had a master plan on that one.
Know nothing about
she
that.
was she was good on that.
Well, that is
Uh,
definitely one way that our childhood experiences were completely different. Because who would touch a sweet angel?
right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
I wasn't
Sure.
no sweet angel, but I also that one wouldn't, didn't has never got a whooping.
This is a complete side note, and I am going to get back on track. But Joe, we had a whole discussion. For some reason, we went out, me and Mama. For some
Mm-hmm.
reason, we were talking about childhoods and like who was a sweet kid. For some reason, they were thinking like you were like an angel, and I'm like,
Who?
hey, 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 the birthday party we went to.
Oh yeah. I mean, I
I'm
was
like,
sweet to people. I was sweet to like at times, but if it was just like if most times if there was nobody around that I knew or nobody around that at that childhood age I thought was cute or whatever, I'm acting like me.
yeah,
Which means
complete.
I want to go look at stuff and I just want to be entertained, and if I'm not entertained, then I'm upset.
Yeah, so that's the
Lord
side.
help
I
today.
forgot to tell you that. So back to Mama Petrie. I have to say stuff when it comes to me though, y'all. Y'all know I'd be like,
Because
what was
we'll
I
forget
talking
it,
about?
man. And these are like not just spiritual journey moments. This is also uh time capsule stuff for us. So
Time capsule and his family legacy. You look at the Bible and you see all of this genealogy and who is related to who and blah, blah, blah. And their stories are continuing to be told thousands of years later, literally. Like you may not get all the details, but you know their names. And Cleopatra Sumter, also I knew her as Mom Patry, but that's her full name. Mom Patry is part of the reason I am who I am today. And so I'm going to speak her name. I'm going to celebrate her life. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen.
yeah, you being weird. That Donnie, we ain't even got to acknowledge all that. I have a question though for you. So
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
it is very understood to me how the reception for the Queen baby Sarita was
Oh
amongst our
my
family.
goodness.
But I don't ask much about like what people like said, thought, did, cared about because I have stories, but I don't have like kind of did Mom Patriot say anything to you or a memory you have like before I was born or like right when I was born with her that like means something to you?
I don't. I don't recall that. Part of the thing is I was in my senior year of college when I had you, so
Mm.
it was like more of you gonna get you girl, you got to go out of school kind of a thing, like, but
My
nothing.
Patriot was big on education. That was
Yeah,
her
she was so
main
big. I mean, that was
thing.
like her mantra. You have to go to college. You have to get out of college. You have to graduate. Not just go. I need you to graduate from college. Um and I and she pushed that so much that I believe every family member helped get me through school. Um Either by making sure Sarita had clothes, whatever.
See how easy we fall back into the legacy that is Queen, my sister. Gosh, I'm
This
joking,
is the
but
Bible
continue.
But
study
I mean,
girl
she was
I'm
there
podcast.
for
joking.
5 years. You were only there for like 6 months, 6 or 7 months, 6 months maybe. Because you were born in November. I
Wait, what?
graduated in
You didn't know
May.
they gave you away for the
June.
first 6 months of your life?
I didn't know I was down there that long. I mean, I knew
You were down. You were down there a long time.
but I thought like, because I knew there were moments like we have the famous Aunt Gail story, which at some point I'm gonna get her to
And you
tell.
wouldn't. And the thing is you wouldn't remember because you were a baby.
You were a
I know
baby.
that's why I'm
But you were
asking.
down there part of the time. I mean, you would go and stay down there sometimes because one time Mama called and said, "Is something wrong with him? He's not able to walk." And I'm like, "He's not able to walk."
Mama, you don't
And
have
she's
to
like,
do
"He's
this
he's dragging his leg, like
to me.
dragging his leg. What is going on?" And so I made an appointment up here for you to come see the doctor or whatever. And I don't know if they had taken you to the doctor down there too. Basically, it was just one of those things, Joe. You just, hey, I don't feel like walking, so drag my leg.
Mom Patriot was concerned about you.
He
uh,
was
she was
concerned.
Yeah,
concerned a
she's
lot of
like,
times
this
about me.
this new one you to sit down here. I don't
I mean, and they were like, she was so concerned one other time because
I, I
you were crying. I mean, just crying and crying and crying. Would not stop crying. And she called Aunt Doris, and Aunt Doris was like, I don't know what's wrong with the boy. I don't know. And so Aunt Doris got you in the car. And once you got in the car, you were like, oh, okay, we're cool now.
and they said as soon as like they started driving, I like fell asleep, and they was like, "This boy just wanted to go on a ride." So those are my story, but I was thinking maybe there was like something, a gem or something that hadn't like been uncovered that I didn't know, because I know those, because those get told all the time about how
know. They
they
do.
thought I was like slow and just couldn't learn and all this other stuff. I like you would think that I was the most sped kid in the world. You would think, and there's only
No.
I almost said something about anyway.
No. Don't.
Anyway, but
Don't. So
it wasn't me. That's all. There we go. It's not
so
me.
But you were a really cute baby, like super cute.
adorbs.
She was kill. Well, like the first time she took you to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
they checked you and then they went back out and came back, and she was like, "I know what they doing. They were looking at your testicles to make sure you were black because Mom Patriot's brown. She was brown, and you were very light complected. So,
Like your mother.
so she said they came in and then they looked and they went back out and they came back in. I was like, these people crazy down here.
Okay, so
But
that's a
anyway,
new story. I had no. That's new. Very
yeah,
embarrassing, but new.
It
yeah,
is. Mom, we on the whole podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't know.
do know that.
You
I
know
don't think you
Life is life, and then we live in a society where people
that
whatever.
sounded a lot
Anyway.
like the carpet matching the drapes is what that sounded like.
it's a little colored child.
You look at, like when babies are born, you look at the color of their
Hey,
ears.
mama,
Pretty much determines.
Mom,
nurse, we got it.
Okay.
Nurse,
We got it.
come on,
Yeah,
get
thank
back on,
you.
get back to the stories. Nurse.
But anyway, like, but she raised basically every grandchild. Not if she didn't raise them, she kept them a lot.
A lot.
She
I-
raised me, but she kept a lot of
So what do you
the
think?
grands and the great grands.
So what do you think is one thing that you learned from her that has carried you? One thing that when you think about her, you think of this thing. It could be like a personality trait of hers. It could be something that she said that you just cannot forget. It could just be anything that you feel like is part of her legacy and what she left behind, what lives on.
I think perseverance and tenacity are the things that really stick out to me. And especially when she was battling cancer. it was just, she was so strong. And, you know, you always think that there's a person in your life that's never going to die.
Oh, she was definitely one of those for me.
And I
I,
just,
For
even
me,
though I knew it was
I
gonna
th-
happen, I just never thought it was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that she would literally die.
I couldn't either,
she would be
honey.
what,
That was
95, 96 right now, something like that.
Uh,
Because she
she
died
died
when
at
she was
80.
80. Yeah,
So 93.
yeah.
She'd be
um,
And in my mind, like, nah, dog, you was gonna be
no,
150.
she'd be 95. It's been 15 years.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
why.
that's crazy.
That's why I was like, oh no, you gonna be 200 with my great greats or my great great greats
I will
making a
say
quilt for them.
I will agree with you, Mama. It just was inconceivable to me that she would never know my husband, that she would never know my children. Like she was a person that was going to live long, 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 long. And
right.
I do realize the privilege that I have because most people don't even know their great
Most
grandparents.
people don't know their grandparents.
Right. Most people don't know their grandparents. So to be able to spend 25 years with my great grandmother, wow, that's a tremendous blessing. I just couldn't imagine life without her. I couldn't imagine our family functioning as a whole without her. I will say for myself personally, and Bible study brother, I want you to share your one thing.
Mm,
I think for me personally, the one thing that lives on beyond her is her love for family and her love for
Yeah,
family connection. Like she was all about we got we got, we are going to stay together. And I think that is something that I can hear her whispering in my head when my whole entire family is getting on my nerves. Like, we all we got. This is family. We stick together because, you talked about her brother's passing. She truly loved her family. Family was
yeah,
everything to her. Um,
absolutely.
and so for me, that's something that lives on that I hear whispering in my head, like I said, when everybody getting on my nerves. But like this is my family, and I do need to do the best that I can to preserve my family. You got yours, bro?
yeah, it's gonna be the quilts because I remember like, and this is like not understanding time and everything that went on in our lives and the changes that we had to make. I was under the assumption I keep hearing all these stories about quilts that were made for babies and everybody got a baby quilt and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, this one is mine. And then Sarita would quickly be like, nope, this one was made for me. This one, and Mom was like, nah, that one was made for me. So, I'm like, but these things feel so good. So it wasn't until I graduated when Grandma made two quilts for me that okay, let me try and get through this in a good way because it
You
gets me
can
every time.
cry if you need to, brother.
I
You
wasn't
need a
really
second.
trying to, and I know I'm not saying something that I should be getting all, but you just, when I finally got mine, you just feel the love, and it's not something that you can really explain. Like there's a not a Broadway play, but a play called Quilts that we went to see. We all went to see at some point at the Arkansas
The
Repertory
rep.
Theater. And it's the closest thing you can get to like an explanation of like what quilts mean for us. And for me, that was a special moment because for me, since I only got 6 months in terms of that, and I got other times with her, but I didn't get the same, connections in my mind because like kid wise, time and all this other stuff that stood above everything because it was like, bruh, that's amazing, in terms of what I felt, in terms of like the glow that I had about me. Like that's all I want. Like I don't want no money. Like, and I remember when she was asking me like what colors I wanted, and I just said blue and white because those blue, white, but those are my favorite colors. She was like, "That's all." I said, "Yep, that's all." Like, and so then she made it, and then when she came out with the second one, and that's blue, white, and a little bit of red and everything or whatever, and I was just like, man, I felt like I got. It didn't matter what else I got. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to start getting these moments with her, and the love and the come on now, man. The best moments that I have that are just like us are, going and sitting with her when she was getting chemo. And I remember like driving up there to do, because I had the time at that point, because I was back home or whatever, and I was in school, but I wasn't like, I had time to do this. And we're just sitting there talking, and I'm doing my best to kind of understand what she's saying, because at that point, grandma is so country. And I could hardly ever understand what her and Daddy Hershey were saying most of the time. But like this time, I'm just sitting here and I'm just kind of listening and talking to her. And it just was special because it felt like that was something for me. In the middle of all this stuff, like, I got stories of like how I was this person's baby and so on and so forth. But like having that time with her, having the quilt, it's just the legacy of love. Like I still feel it. It doesn't matter if I'm laying under my quilt. It's just because how well made they are. And like we literally have quilts that are
well made,
20 to 30 years old at this
40
point.
years old. How old am I? 40 years old, yeah. And still hanging on, baby.
Like even if one of the tiles or patches or what would you call them? A
like
piece
is
a square, even if squares is like kind of coming off, it doesn't deteriorate like how well this quilt is, and it doesn't come off. It's just hanging, and that to me was the thing that the biggest part of her legacy in terms of like I could just sense the joy, and I got to experience that, like as I'm becoming a teenager and stuff, and so whether it was those two things, the love, and we talk. I believe we talked about Panama City on here before, in terms of that being the funniest memory of ever. Like,
can I say something before you get off the quilts?
Yeah,
we are a tangential family. We will go off on the tangent.
Yeah.
But when you said quilts, I'm like, OMG. I think that's one of the things that strikes me the most at big moments in my life. She's not there to give me a quilt. And that makes me sad every time. Like anytime something big happens, I'm like, she's not there. For every graduation, I got a quilt, baby. Like just for any big, because like I said, she was big on education. So any big event, it's going down.
Oh no! Now that you got on this little tangent, because I got to go ahead and shame you. So I was like, my wedding, I was good. I had a bit of sadness about the people that weren't there, but it wasn't until I get to my licensing when I got to preach. My sister hands me this book full of pictures. Like she made a what do they call the
scrapbook?
Thank you.
Like a scrapbook?
Yeah. So she had a scrapbook, and so in the area of in memorandum or in memory of.
It doesn't have an in memory of.
It doesn't have it, but it was that section of people.
It wasn't in the book though. I put them on the tables in the reception. I later transferred them to the book, but I had
the first time. But either way, that was the first time where something hit me so hard. Like hard. And I'm like, oh, why? Like, bro, I was able to get through this because at some point I had kind of accepted the fact of those things. It still stings, but that one, because I know that would have been, something for her.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know that would have been, something that was magical. Because I know how much it meant for grandma. I still read the stuff from Aunt Linda and everybody else that wrote stuff, but I know that would have been something that made her heart rejoice and just, so.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done taking up all
she never missed a graduation. I mean, like, nobody's.
I could get emotional and tear up on y'all and cry, but when I got my master, she was sick, going through cancer, and she sat in front of the stove in a chair and cooked my favorite meal because I was going off to Georgia. Like she loved family and she sacrificed. Like I didn't ask her to cook for me. She was like, "No, you're gonna get this quilt and I'm finna make you something to eat where you carry yourself to a different state because you think you're grown." If I had known, again, like I said, I could not have imagined that she was gonna die. I knew she had cancer, but she ain't died.
Oh no, bro,
You know
you
what I'm
beating
saying?
it. Like, all right, cool. What do they do? What is the cure?
There was never a doubt in my mind that she was gonna survive. And so if I had known, I would have never moved.
Oh, I know.
I would have never moved. I would have never moved. But it never
But
even
she lived.
occurred.
Here's the thing, though. She lived a long time because you moved from Augusta to Houston.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But I never would have done any of that if I had known like this is all the time I'm gonna have left. I would not have done. The guy know what he doing because I would have, baby. I'm right here. I will say though, even with that though, I did get to spend a lot of time with her in her last years. Like I came home all the time. Y'all were getting together as a family once a month just to kick it and celebrate people's birthdays. So it's
but
not like I did.
even with that, that was the impetus for us doing that, is so that we could spend time with her. Once a month, that she could be with her family. She could be with all of us. And then when her health started getting a little bit, worse, where she wasn't really able to travel, because we even had some parties here in Little Rock. But
Yeah.
I think when she got a little bit more, where she was sick more, we started doing it every 3 months so we wouldn't tire her out.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I she left a tremendous legacy. She loved the Lord. She loved her family. She was very caring. Mama said she would whoop people. That ain't mine.
And with me, her children have whipped me more than like she never touched me. Her children handled all of that.
Me and my Patra were cool like that. Like, why? I know she had to whoop my cousins though. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't gonna call them out by name, but I know she had. I know for sure one of them.
For sure.
She had to wear out. But she left a tremendous legacy.
Dog, I miss her
The
food.
world may not know her, but she means the world to me. She means the world to me. So I'm thankful that, Kanae had her bridal shower on my Patriots birthday. And I was like, oh, I mean, that's not why she did
And
it,
she
but I
got to
was
meet her
like,
though, which was another
huh?
thing. I'm thankful that she got to meet her.
She did?
At Mama's 40. At
Oh,
her,
she sure did. She sure did at Mama's 40th birthday party.
like that. That's probably why, like heart wise, I'm not like, because I feel like, I don't know. People be knowing stuff, and while my grandmother knew that we would break up, I think I don't remember. I remember them. I don't remember. I don't remember if I asked her what she thought about her or what, but I know we had some conversation, or like me introducing her in the little area or whatever. But that was special to me because she did get to meet like our family, like the a big huge chunk of our family and friends.
Yeah, she did. She did. I
Like,
forgot about that. I had
yeah,
harassed Kanae for Mama's 40th. I've been harassing her for a long time.
yeah. Even when at that time you wasn't really sure whether or not you liked her or not, you was just like,
No,
hey,
it wasn't. No, at
no,
that time.
I'm not saying like beef. I'm just saying like more so like, you kind of knew like y'all been dating for a little while, but
Well, no, my thing was I have a production to put on.
yeah,
You got a girlfriend. I'm gonna use her. It was
yeah.
not.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, that's why it was so cool, and like everybody was like there, and it was so much fun, and she looked great that day. She had on, she be showing out when she get dressed up. She come through showing out.
Yeah. So she
So
left a tremendous legacy, a legacy of love, and I can't forget her. I appreciate her. She's the reason I'm an old lady today.
Mama.
Getting up early in the morning, making biscuits from scratch. Baby, we
Oh,
lived the life. They dip them in butter.
I'm still
Well, not
laughing how
butter,
you
like
said every
oil.
time that you was just crying at the funeral because you realized harder at the funeral because you realized you wasn't gonna get to eat her cooking no more.
Wait a minute. I hadn't even processed that part of grief. But somebody got up
Somebody
there.
said, but
Was it at the
somebody said that
repast?
in
No,
there.
Oh
it was
no!
at the funeral. Somebody got up there
And
and
I
was
said I'm gonna
like,
miss
I sure love
her.
Miss Patriot's song. And I was like, wait,
I
what?
think it was Carl.
No, it was
Nah, I don't
somebody
think
that
I'm
was
gonna.
not in the
Oh my
family.
god! You know what I just almost did in my brain? That's on. Like I don't know who all listen to this, but I almost went. Yep, yep.
It I'm glad you didn't, brother. It was somebody that was not in the family. It was not Carl. It was somebody that wasn't in the family that were talking about how back in the day they used to go to Patriot House. They called it Miss Patriot House all the time, and she would have some. I don't even remember what
I don't
they
remember what it
named.
was.
And I'm telling you, you talking about somebody that boohoo cried at that point? I'm like, I
Before we get off of here, because these last two episodes, man, we've been on y'all for this time. But Mama, there's so many stories that I know that you have that you're just not thinking of because they're probably just regular smegula to you. But what new anything do you have that you like can think of that you maybe haven't shared with us or didn't talk about, like a special moment that y'all had, or like where y'all was praying, like, or just anything? It was like, do you have anything like that?
And while you're thinking about it, I can share one of my special moments.
Okay.
Like I said, my Patriot was a beast with cooking. One thing that she used to make, though, that I need to like try and make myself, is she used to make, I guess they call it sun tea. Like she would put tea bags in some water and we would sit it outside. It was a jug. We would sit it outside in a jug and it would let it, let the tea
Steeping,
seep
yeah.
out and marinate. But that tea, when I tell you, and she woo, 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 fix it up. Uh, it was delicious. Chef's kiss. Like I loved it. I loved um I'm letting mama think. I didn't love this part, but it was part of our duties. Like when we were driving down the road,
Mm-hmm.
if she saw cans on the side of the road for all of y'all people
Mm-hmm.
that litter, I would have to get out and get the can and put it in the
And it be
bag. And we
hot,
would, once
bro.
the bag got full, we would take it down to the recycling place. But like that was one thing that we did. That's
That
part of
and
my
she was big with. We didn't go to a whole lot of grocery stores, and I mean, like by the time we was around, like Walmart and stuff was around, we would go sometimes, but we also went to like farmers markets and stuff, like, and it would be in out of the middle of nowhere. Like you
I think
can,
we were in Mariana, my friend. You just felt like we were in the
dog.
middle
We
of
was in the middle of nowhere. Dog, we was in the middle of nowhere. Whatever
yeah, we
road
would
would be
go and
off
like get
on.
pizza and stuff and
Yo, and we would get the tubs of it. And I mean, now granted, at the time you would kind of be like, well, wasn't the ride the work? Wasn't the ride my work? And you already knew that when you got back, you in them
you got a
buckets. You
shell.
gotta share. Oh, I lied. My favorite memory though is the simplest stuff ever, which is putting clothes on the line. Was
I
the
love that. I
funnest thing in the
love
world,
putting
bro.
clothes on fine.
Like, oh my god, it smells so good.
So good. I
So
love the
good, bro.
smell. To this day, I love the smell of clothes that have been out in the
Oh
because
man,
we had a washing machine, but we didn't have a dryer, so we had to dry our clothes on the line. I miss that.
dog, and it was like
Not
so
from a
much fun.
practicality standpoint, like thank you, Lord, for the wash and dryer I have now. But it's a different smell. It's a
Yeah,
different, you can't,
yeah,
they be trying to get the clean linen scent, but it's not the
not
same.
the same. And she had a the scrubbing thing.
Yeah, I never saw her use that.
You didn't? I
No.
have. I know I have to get, but it was only when like you had something like with a real stain or something on there.
Probably one of your pieces of clothing. That makes sense. You would have
Probably.
seen it.
But yeah, so that was that was one of my big memories in having those times, because it would always just smell like so great. And like I know I would get so scared of sitting with her and Dad Hershey sometimes, just because I couldn't understand what they were saying. Because sometimes they would speak so low.
They spoke my language, man. Let me tell you, we had a schedule. We watched the stories every day. I knew everything that was going on with Victor and them, like General Hospital, all my children, those are my people. We were an ABC family. Dr. Red Duke on the news every night, Wheel of Fortune. Like we had a schedule. We had a beautiful life. I had a great upbringing.
Dog, listen, that was amazing. But have you had no time to think of something, Mama?
Yeah, I think the advice she gave me when I got the divorce. Yeah, she was very opinionated.
Dog, I hadn't even in my brain. I don't even like. Even though I know, like, one of the pivotal moments in my memory of that time is listening to, Mama on repeat after you had, like, you was just, I gotta go. And I was like, oh no, I'm losing Isaiah right in front of my eyes. And you wasn't doing that.
Buddy, I'm glad you feel, brother.
But you wasn't doing nothing but going down there. So I've never even thought about this until now. Continue. Sorry. It was just the most amazing revelation in my mind.
But just the advice she gave me, the poignant statements that she made.
I guess we're getting those off. I can't remember. Okay.
Don't say them, girl. Don't say them, because he ain't
Will not to this day. But
you can tell me when we get off this recording.
You will.
But she gave me great advice, and she was very encouraging. Our family tends to talk amongst themselves.
Oh, always. Everybody is
talking. And she divulged some things, but anyway, it was really, but she was so encouraging, she was my grandma. She was my mama. That was my mama.
She was your mom.
So she was my mom. That's all. I mean, I knew who my mother was, but she was my mama. And but yeah, I don't think I saw, and I would laugh after you were born, and she, just to see the transformation in her countenance.
Oh, you mean the favorite one was born, not me? Okay, I understand.
I'm not the favorite. I just was the first baby in a minute.
She was the first baby in a long time. So
me too.
Yeah, you were.
From you to me, that was it. Was from you to me.
Right. That's right. You're right.
Like I know her, and then I was only me until this last set of cousins. Well, not last set, but
keep talking about the transformation, Mom. She became.
Yeah, I was just messing with you.
But it was at that point when I would come home from college, and she'd be like, "You say I love you, Granny." She said, "I love you," and I'm just like, "Wait a minute, where did it come from?" She never said I love you in words. And then, we ate homemade meals a majority of the time. The only time we really got like McDonald's or Sonic or something like that is if we had to go to Helena and we had a doctor's appointment or something and we were down there. She would just get us something then. Or if we were like doing our monthly grocery shopping and we were going to be down there all day and we would get that. The rest of the time we ate homemade meals with desserts and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, not pizza, not tacos. And I came home one time and you made what? You made what? You made pizza? Oh my gosh. I mean, it was a whole different. I'm like, who are you? What did you do with my mama?
Right. We had home cooked meal.
I was just going to say, as much as I joke, Sarita did change the entire atmosphere of our family from that point.
Okay, I found this on the web for Sarita. It did change the entire atmosphere.
No.
Check it out.
Siri, get out of here.
Siri had to get in on it, baby.
She did not.
Um,
But yeah,
I
in
don't know that
terms
I
of
changed the entire atmosphere.
oh no, you
but
did. You
I
100%
do.
did.
So listen, I do know I had a great end time with my Patri. We kicked it hard. Do you hear me?
Dog, listen, let me tell you something. So you're not just the translator in a lot of ways between the trio of us. You were created in a lot of ways to be the bridge for so much stuff. And you are like you're the bridge between first cousins and now cousins, and you're the bridge between family get-togethers and like what the expectation was and things that we could do and wanted to do. Because like when you wanted to do something and you put your mind to it, like I can feel the energy about like, well, it's time to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's
That
what
is true.
that's what I
I
mean
am
by
a
like you changed that atmosphere. Not to
I
say
am
that
a
it wasn't there, but like you really brought it to fruition to me.
I will say that if I want it to happen, it's going down.
Yeah.
And I do know that about myself. So, my Patriot, we love you. We
We
are
love
grateful for your life and your legacy. We're grateful for your love, your quilts, your food, your sayings. Like, we had a whole thing of her sayings on her funeral program because she has some ringtail to it, baby. We thank you for all of that. Your legacy lives on. And your faith lives on as well. We are grateful for you and all that you've done. Happy heavenly birthday.
Happy heavenly
I pray
birthday.
that heaven is better than we could have ever imagined. That's all I got.
And we will see you on the other side of glory.
Yes, Lord.
And when I get to like we had a great sermon recently that just kind of made me think about that differently than when I used to think about it as a kid. Because as a kid, I was like just feeling like I'm not gonna know anything about who I was or what happened. I'm just gonna be this new creature that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So in a better explanation that our pastor kind of did, I was just like, oh, like no, like
your spirit is your spirit.
Like
that's who you are.
Like I just won't be fighting with flesh every day, but I'm like me, and I'm not like gonna have like this draw to anything that ain't God, and like I'm gonna get to see, bruh. Listen, but I'm not gonna like cry about it because I'm not like feeling this. I'm just gonna be in a glory be. But anyway, I said all that. I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed learning some new things about our great grandmother. I hope you guys enjoyed like just having this kind of journey. I hope that maybe it illuminates somebody for you, or maybe gives you a glimpse at just the love that is in people. And there's way more love than there is hate and everything else. So just, I hope that we got to share something good with you. If you want to hit us up on the socials, all those things are down there in the description. Make sure that you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is increasingly growing. We are going to be well over 100 subscribers by the time this episode comes out. I'm just claiming it right now. And therefore, I'll start saying the new slug by the next episode that you get, because you won't have one that is new with the stuff on there. But if you want to get in contact with us, hit us up at biblestudygirl2019@gmail.com, or on our Facebook, where you can message us there. Bible Study Brother and Bible Study Girl share the account. Just saying that for people who may need to get in touch with us, because you're always getting in touch with us. And remember, it is not I that preach. What? What?
Go ahead, brother.
What's going on? Did I do something wrong? Because it's not I preach. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just laughing because he gives that disclaimer. So if you contact Bible Study Girl on the Facebook page or Instagram, we both get those messages and we both read them. He's trying to weed out the men, is what he's trying to do.
What? No, I would never. Like, because they're...
Are you separating the tare from the wheat?
He is. He's trying real hard. But stuff be slipping by him.
I'm saying it before I start responding.
Well, if you're responding as Bible Study Girl. So,
okay.
No.
Okay. But it's not I preach. It's not you preach, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching. Don't be afraid to reach out. We'd love to talk to you, for real, for real.